Hey, what's up you guys? This is Sentai22 here. How you guys all doing? Bringing you a gaming review for you. It's been a long time since I've done one of these. And today I'll be checking out the Mega Key Converter. Now, for those of you who don't know what a Mega Key Converter is essentially a region converter that actually lets you play any games, Mega Drive games from any region, say from Japan, the UK, Europe, or if you live in Europe, because this is where they sell these. They'll be able to play their Sega Genesis games on their Mega Drive. Now, Sega is known for a lot of innovations, but region locking was pretty much one of the worst innovations that they did. Now, if you ever look at the Super Nintendo, the Super Nintendo was region locked physically, which was easy to do. Just take out the two pins in the cartridge slot. But with the Sega Mega Drive and the Sega Genesis games, however, they were region locked through the cartridge. Prior to 94, 93, pre-1993, if you ever bought a Sega Mega Drive cartridge, the first releases of the Sega Mega Drive cartridges, they would read just fine with the game Genie. You didn't have to put a code or anything like that. Although, however, it would change the language text to their respective region. Say, for example, if you bought a sports game, I believe EA Sports Japanese games, the Japanese EA Sports games, for example, if you bought a Japanese EA game, it will read in the English text instead of the Japanese text on your Sega Genesis. So kind of interesting there. I remember as a kid, I went to Florida one time, and we were just looking, seeing the sites. I don't know which electronic store was it, but I think it doesn't exist anymore. But there was an electronic store that sold video games. Yes, they sold video games before video games had their own independent store. But anyway, they had this little device. Now, it wasn't the Mega Key, mind you. It was some other brand. I mean, they had a lot of different converters, but essentially they had it on their display case. The reason for that was, if you guys probably know, Florida is a big tourist destination for a lot of Europeans and a lot of Brits. So if they buy a Sega Genesis game, they probably wouldn't work on their PAL Mega Drive. So what the sellers do is basically bundle these with their American games, so that way it wouldn't be an issue. As you can see, it has the regions and the switches that you have to do in the back here. I already set up mine for the Japanese cartridge, and of course the cartridge that I'm going to test it on, as you've probably seen it before, the Sailor Moon Mega Drive game that I reviewed. If you want to check that out, it's in my channel. So anyway, let's rock and roll. Okay, now I have the Mega Key Converter with the dip switches off, just to give you an example of what happens when they're all turned off. So I'm going to turn on the system. I put the camera in nice view here. As you can see, it says this software is authorized only in Japan. So now I'm going to do the switches for the Japanese region. Okay, now I have the dip switch set for the Japanese cartridge. So turn on the system. And there you go. Now again, is essentially convincing the Japanese cart that it's playing on a Mega Drive. there you go. All in all, it's a great little converter, but keep in mind there are downsides to this. For one thing, this thing is a bitch to take out of the Genesis, so be very careful. Also, from what I've heard is that these things do break. I'm not really sure. This is a brand new Mega Key that I got brand spanking new from the box. Even has the wrap on it, so I'm not sure if that's true, but other than that, they're a little bit harder to find. I did go to eBay and I saw one from an Italian seller that was selling this for like $15 to maybe $40. So if you want a converter that plays essentially any game from any region, this is a great little converter that, you know, for what it's worth, the Sega Genesis library had a lot of awesome games that we never got here, or if you live in Europe, vice versa. Yeah, it is a hard to find converter. A good alternative obviously is of course the game Genie, which is just as good. The only difference is that you have to put a code in every time you want to play a Japanese or a European game, which you have to find online. Alright guys, that's about it. Hope you guys enjoyed this little review. Please comment as well as subscribe to my YouTube channel, Facebook, and Twitter. This is Sentai22, and thanks for watching.